Well, g'day, curd nerds. G'day, curd nerds. Well, 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 g'day, curd nerds, and welcome to Ask the Cheeseman. This is where you can ask your home cheese making questions. Let's cue the cheesy music. There we go. Now, before I go much further, I'm Gavin Weber, and I'm the host of the show today. And hopefully, like I said, I'll be answering your questions. We are live on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitch. Lovely to see you. Now, we were having some hang on, need a sip of coffee already. We were having some technical difficulties over the last, 3 streams or so, where we get dropouts and all that sort of stuff. Now, I put in a support call with the provider that I'm using for streaming, which is called Restream, and so far it's looking okay. So we will see what happens during the stream. I threatened them with moving providers, so I think they fixed whatever the issue was. Anyway, that's good. Now, that aside, excuse me, shout out to renewing financial member, Nicola Boland. Thank you, Nicola, for your financial support on YouTube memberships. And thanks to all the YouTube members and Patreons, or patrons, I should say, who support the show financially. It's fantastic that we receive that financial support so Kim and I can keep the videos and the shows flowing. Okay, you would have seen a flurry of activity this week on the channel. We did, goodness me, how many videos did we do? Hang on, let me have a look. Goodness me, there were so many. So we did the Graviera taste test where I did a little sneak peek of some Saganaki. Then I did a Saganaki the tutorial, very simple one. People seem to like that. And we did the Red Windsor taste test, which was not as... it was good, but the texture just wasn't there. It kind of like exploded in your mouth. It wasn't that good. Anyway, all being that said, this week's video will be the bland final bottling. I'm making cheese the weekend coming, which is good. So the content will keep flowing and the cheese will keep stocking up in my fridge, which is a great thing. And yeah, so that I'm in two minds, and I'll get your feedback here, curd nerds, that I'm going to do the bottling video. It'll be just short and a taste test at the end. And I'm just wondering, should I put all of the bland videos, which is the fermented way, all together into one big mega video? I'll take your comments down the bottom in the chat, wherever you are, and we'll proceed with your suggestions. That'll be great. Now, don't forget that if you have an urgent question or you just want to share the love, then you can always hit me up with a super chat over on YouTube, and the curd nerd light will go off, and your super chat will go to the top of the queue as far as the questions go. Anyway, moving right along, let's say good day to a few people who are on the chat. First cab off the rank today was Patricia. Hello, Patricia, as always. Bill, g'day, Bill. Love to see you, or see you on the chat, that's for sure. Julianne, g'day, Julianne. Who else we got? We got Waxwing, Cheryl, Bill. Who else we got? Jim, Donna, Annette. Hello, Annette. Michael. Hello, Michael. Habib. Hello, Habib. Love to see you. Herb, as always, that fine brewer over there, who's made the blend a few times. Thanks, Herb. And who else we got? We got Charlie. G'day, Charlie. Sherry. Hello, Sherry. Jason. G'day, Jason. Tracy from Cheese Knees. Hello, Tracy. Jean. G'day, Jean. Nancy. Ashley. 777 Dorado. think that's how you say it. Hello, Dorado. I'll just call you Dorado. Alex, hello, Alex. Ashley, Monique, and who else we got? Steve, g'day, Steve. Shauna, hello, Shauna. And that'll do. Lovely. Alrighty, so let's do what we do best here and get into the questions. Just remember that at 30 minutes past the hour, we will have the gallery. There's only a few submissions today. And don't forget, we have, if I can find, where the heck are the joke cards? Oh, there we go, hiding behind the counter. Don't forget, we got some cheesy jokes as always. Get the cards out and we'll do the shuffle and all that. There we go, got the cheesy jokes. Excellent. Now, do I have enough coffee for the show? Yes, just. Alrighty. Let's have a look at first question. So the first question today is from Patricia. And Patricia says, I have some dried Haskap berries, Nova Scotia natives, which I'd like to include in a cheese. How would you recommend pre-treating them to kill off any unwanted microorganisms? Good question. Well, there's a couple of ways I would assume. So with any dried fruit or berries, what I tend to do is not have them in dry, because sometimes it depends on how they're dried. If they're just sun-dried, then yeah, they'll have wild yeasts on them because, you know, wild yeast is everywhere. So the best thing to do is probably pop them in an oven over 100 degrees Celsius for about 5 to 10 minutes, probably 5 minutes. I wouldn't want them to dry out too much. So pop them in an oven, that'll kill off anything, including the yeast. Worst comes to worst, what you could do, like I have with some of the things that I've added to cheese, and that is to just boil them in half a cup of water for about 5 minutes as well, and then let them drain off before adding them to the cheese, depending on the cheese, at the milling stage. So yeah, that's what I would do, Patricia, to get rid of any wild yeast or any bacteria that are on the berries. Hope that helps. Tracy says, g'day, Gavin, love the thumbnail. That's because it's yours. Thanks for the nod. No problems at all. You're most welcome. All cheesy entries get a go at the raffle, the Ask the Cheeseman thumbnail raffle. Jean says, hi, Gavin, Minister for Cheese. Can you help with advice on slimy feta? I added calcium to the cheese and the brine plus vinegar, but the cheese still gets slimy. Thank you. Yeah, so you're going to have to test the pH of the brine, Gene. So it's got to match what the cheese is. So feta typically is about between 4.8 and 4.5 pH. So the brine has to match that, or be higher as far as the pH goes, because that'll slow down the calcium exchange. But yeah, definitely just play around with the pH until it matches what the cheese is. You may have to determine that with a pH meter or pH test strips, and that'll stop the sliminess. You've got calcium added, which is good. So yeah, that's about all I can think of. Yeah, that'll work. Yeah, make sure that the pH is the same. Okay. Jim says maybe a bland playlist. Yeah, could be done. I'll just do not a fermenting one, a brewing playlist or something like that, Jim. That sounds pretty good. Dorado says, greetings from Los Angeles. Found your channel a couple of weeks ago. Made my first queso fresco a few days ago. A good start. Well, that's a great cheese to start with, Dorado, because it is nice and simple and you can eat it on the same day. So yeah, well done. Alex says, this is to Jean, I think. That happened to me when I made a brine. I suspected my calcium chloride wasn't enough. When I made the brine out of whey, I got no slime. Oh, there you go. Great tip. Thanks, Alex. Ashley says that she is watching whilst I stir my curds for Asiago. Well, best of luck with that cheese. It's a good one, that's for sure. Herb says adding the bland videos into a single one might be a good idea. I gave a bottle of mine to a co-worker on Friday, so we'll see what he thinks. Indeed. Monique says, yeah, put all the bland videos together, mate. No drama. I think I will. That's 2 votes. That's 2 up votes, if that makes sense. Patricia says, I like the idea of all the bland videos grouped together somehow. Yeah, okay, that's great. Thank you, Patricia. Shauna says, good morning regarding the red. I'm getting tongue-tied this morning. It's fresh out of bed, that's the problem. I missed my alarm for whatever reason. Anyway, Shauna says, regarding the Red Windsor taste test, could the texture issue be related to the length of time you pressed it in the Lauder mould? You pressed it for 13 hours and Lauder said that it should be a minimum of 2 thoughts. Yeah, indeed. That certainly could have been one of the issues, Shauna. Because it was fairly dry. However, if I didn't press it for that amount of time, because I remember I looked at it at the 6-hour mark of pressing, and it was still, when I pulled the top of the Lauder mold off, it was still coming apart, which kind of concerned me a fair bit. I think it was because the curds were too small and I soaked them too long. I believe that was the issue, not the pressing. The pressing made it stick together, which is one of the... I know it had a lot of trouble getting it out of the mold, but, that's just the way it was. Okay, but thanks for the suggestion. It could be. Dennis says, I would combine the way videos into a 30 to 40 minute logical chunk if possible. Yeah, definitely. Now, what I am thinking, Dennis, now you've said that certainly I would edit the video down. I don't think it'll be any more than 35 to 40 minutes anyway. So we've got a super chat going on there. That's fantastic. That's from Toby. Thank you, Toby. Toby flashed us £4.49 UK. Yeah, that's the one. Hey, Gav, talk of pH. I think our cheeses are over acidic. We also seem to extract all the curds from the milk. Could our rennet be too strong? Yeah, it could be, definitely, Toby. However, the acidity is not caused by the rennet. So yeah, maybe 2 things. You could be using too much rennet. Your rennet strength could be a bit high. Also, your milk could be over acidic. So maybe ease back on the starter cultures as well. Depends what type of milk. If you're getting raw milk, then I would halve the starter cultures, definitely, because it does produce an over acidic cheese. Because remember, there are lactobacteria in raw milk if you're using raw milk. If not, then maybe still ease off by, say, 10% next time when you make some cheese. Thanks, Toby. Appreciate the super chat, mate. Okay. Next question is from a small town machine shop. Hello. Does granulated garlic powder work well in cheese as a seasoning? Well, yes. So I made what was it? It was called Cotswold. That's a double Gloucester cheese from a part of England, which includes dried chives, dried onion flakes, and, well, in my recipe anyway, some granulated garlic. So I have used granulated garlic in cheese, and it works okay. No problems at all. I didn't have to treat it any special way. The cheese is matured very young. I think it was about 3 months before we tasted it. So, yeah, it would be. It wouldn't. I don't think it'd age very well. It'd just get stronger and stronger and stronger. But yeah, I think it was about 3 months that I tried that double Gloucester style. It's called Cotswold, Cotswold. Go and find that on the channel, and you should be good to go. Croesus of Borg says, "Sorry, I'm late. That's okay. You don't have to worry. I'm not gonna get the cheese police out." Right. Next question's from Andy. Andy says, "So I'm planning to make Fundy Fog, and I ordered ash from my supplier. What actually turned up is salt ash, a mixture of salt, percentage unknown, and ash. Can I use this?" Yes, and Patricia, you can chime in if you want, because I think Patricia actually added salt to her ash, where I did not. I dry salted the surface and only used just the ash. Ash tends to, sometimes you're supposed to add salt to the ash. So look, it'll work. That will work, Andy. No problems at all. Maybe just ease off a little bit on the dry salting as well when you rub salt on the surface of the cheese before you coat it with ash. Anyway, so hope that helps. Annette says, "What does bland taste like?" Well, you'll find out when the video comes out. But just because you're all my homies and you are you're the Curd Nerd community, I will let you know, Annette. When it was young, about 6 months old. When it was 6 months old, it tasted like a Chardonnay. That's how I can describe it, comparing it to wines, if that makes sense. When I tasted it at 18 months, it tasted like dry sherry. And in both occasions, it was absolutely beautiful. So you'll see that coming out this week. So it does taste very nice. And it only takes a few simple bits of equipment to brew it, that's for sure, as you'll see in my videos, which I don't have for sale, but in my Amazon shop, I've got a specific Amazon shop page. I've got some brewing stuff in there, I think, or in the original bland video. So what I'll do, for those interested in making them themselves, when I do put together not only the final bottling video, but the master video, the big one, with all the bland bits in it, I'll put Amazon affiliate links down in the description. So if people want to buy stuff, I'll say that during the video. So you'll be able to find stuff. But you can go to any home brewing shop and get the gear there. Steve says, in your opinion, what is the most simple cheese to start off making? There's a few. And Steve, if you go to my channel and go and check out there's a video called Beginner's Cheeses Without a Cheese Fridge. You will see I list about 5 videos that you can use to make very simple cheeses to get started. But to rattle a few off, ricotta, obviously very simple. You can even make it with whole milk. I've got a whole milk recipe. And what else? Paneer, which you can make from ricotta. You can make ricotta salata from ricotta, but paneer is a bit different than ricotta, and that's a lovely cheese as well. If you salt it, you can use it for snacks. Halloumi, fantastic cheese. Queso fresco, feta, sometimes. You'll get a white cheese if you don't get the recipe right, but that'll be fine. Yeah, so that's all good. Alrighty. So thanks for your question. Now, Annette's saying something about is the audio out of sync? Let's have a look. Testing 1, 2. Now, Annette's saying something about, yes, for some reason it is out of sync, and I don't know how to fix that. No, there's nothing I can do to fix it, unfortunately. Yeah, weird. So sorry about that, mate. It's the software I'm using. I may have to go to the new one after all if they're mucking around. It's not normally out of sync. And I'm not using anything different than I used last week. So yeah, weird. Maybe if I turn that off, that'll fix it. We'll see how that goes. Okay, just 2 seconds, and we'll get back to where we were. Let's have a look. Garlic powder, we answered that. The Fundy Fog. What does bland taste like? There we go. Herb says bland has a similar taste to Chardonnay or Pinot Grigio, depending on the age. Yeah, nice. Shauna says, do you think that the Red Windsor using the stout cheddar recipe would work? Yeah, it probably would. So that's because I think the stout cheddar recipe was made with a traditional cheddar recipe. So I'm thinking that's the one that I'm going to try next. So I will give that a go, and I'll keep the curds nice and warm. They'll be chunkier, obviously, and they shouldn't have that drying out issue and the crumbliness that it had. So definitely, Shauna, that is my suggestion. That's what I'm going to try next. So I'm this weekend coming, I'm going to remake the Red Windsor again. Go buy another bottle of port that cost a fortune, because there doesn't seem to be any cheap, nice ports. Depends on where you live, I suppose, but where we are, it's none. Yeah, I'll try that again. So that's my plan for this coming weekend. Alex says, it feels like it's high time to join the bland band. Haven't made any yet. Yes, you should. It's pretty good stuff. Patricia says, any idea what adding salt to ash does to it? Or recipes all call for it, but never explain why. In my humble experience, Patricia, it helps distribute the ash better. Does that make sense? So you've got an ash salt mixture. It's not as fine and billowy. That's the only thing I can think of. You know, you've just salted the cheese already, so the extra salt, I don't know, maybe it's going a bit over the top. I'm not sure. So maybe I'll have to do a little bit of research on that, because my only idea would be, thanks for the super chat, Cheryl. You threw me on that one. Thank you so much. $20. That is lovely. I'll just kill that and finish off this one and get to your question, Cheryl. Yeah, I'll do some research on that. Ash salt. Thank you very much, Patricia. But yeah, great question. Thank you so much. Okay, Cheryl says, I got the right one. Thank you for the $20, Cheryl. Much appreciated. Says, hi, Gavin, on your cutting board, is it a wire or a fishing line? I really need to make one because my hubby hasn't bought me one. Okay, so it was made by me by a guy called David Dawson, who passed away in 2019. Early on in my cheese making journey, David helped me out with a few things. He sent me the very first curd cutter. He made it himself in his own shop. He lived in Manitoba, Canada. Never told me the town, but that's the province he was in. And he also sent me that cutting board. Now, the wire itself has a plastic coating on it. So it's very thin, but it's got a plastic coating, plastic film. So nothing gets, no yeast or anything go into the wire strands. So yeah, so it's just a plastic coating on the wire. It's quite thin. I'll never cut my finger on it because it's plastic coated. So, but it comes through the cheese very simply, as you saw in the Red Windsor video. So that's what it is. So it is a plastic coated wire, stainless steel wire. So I'm not sure where you would pick that up, but that's what it is. And it's very thin. Thanks again for the super chat, Cheryl. Appreciate it. Next question. Yeah, this is a unsynced video. Price to pay for avoiding dropouts. Maybe. Yeah, it is saying that stream health is excellent. Maybe that's what they've done. But what I will do, I've had enough of Restream, I think. There's another piece of software called StreamYard, which a lot of streamers use as well, which has exactly the same functionality, exactly the same price, but obviously they use different server infrastructure. So, yeah, we will try that. It's only a few milliseconds out of sync. Okay, so that's good. Now, I may be able to fix that, actually. Let's see if I can do that off camera while you're chatting amongst yourselves. I'm bringing up some software that I may be able to fix something there. And if it works, of course, just thinking about it. Okay. Well, while we're doing that, we'll answer some more questions. Right, there we go. Software's taking its time. I've got some controlling software for the... Right, here we go. Audio settings. Can I do a delay on that? I can. I do 100 milliseconds delay. Right. Will that save that now? How do I save it? Does it just do it? Right. Okay. Seems to... that's it. Maybe that's fixed it. -50 says stream will fix like when the count reaches 50. Okay. Oh, and we've had a bitrate drop as well, and the stream's gone to custard. So hopefully that's fixed it. Let me just have a quick listen. Okay. Oh, and we've had a bitrate drop as... No, that did not fix it at all. Okay, so that's not good. So let's go a bit more. I think my memory... Right, that may fix it. So there's some delay there. I've added in. Does it do it by itself? Who knows? Let's go. Hang on 1 second. Test 1, 2. Rightio, test pattern. There we go. Hopefully that's fixed it. I don't know if it has. Test 1, 2. All right. Let me just have a quick look on the monitor. Test pattern. There we go. No, hasn't fixed it at all. Okay, so no big deal. Maybe that hasn't fixed it. Anyway, I will set that back to normal later on. Okay, crazy. It's all crazy. What's the time? Is it time for the gallery yet? Oh, yeah, let's start the gallery. Rightio. Good question. Have I tried turning it on and off again? Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's good. And last question before the gallery is from Claire. And Claire says, liquid smoke, any idea how much to add and when to add it? Yes. So I have made a cheese with liquid smoke. It was a smoked howdah, and go and find... go to the channel and check out that video. It's called smoked gouda, I think I called it. And yeah, you'll be able to find that on the channel, Claire. And it's got all the what to do. Anyway, right. Gallery is coming up now. Let's see if that works without any dropouts as well, but we will have a go. Right, hang on. Bring that up. Nope, that one. All righty, time for the gallery. Hey, an alarm's going off. Oh, it's all chaos here. Okay, right, we've got some little thingos to bring up as well. So, first video in the gallery today is the... this is from Michael, and Michael and Jenny are watching, I believe. Michael says, hi, Gavin. Jenny had to try her camembert after 2 weeks of ripening. bit early, but yeah, you can see that in a sec. It was very tasty and plenty of flavour compared to the shop bought ones. Thanks from Jenny and Michael. Most welcome. You can see there. I don't know if you can see it. You can see my thing, but yeah, the paste. Can I see it in the next one? Probably a little bit better. Right. So you can see that this is only ripened for 2 weeks. Great coating. But you can see that the ripeness around the edges here. I don't know if you can see my pointer on the screen. But yeah, you can see that the edges there are the right consistency that you get inside of paste. If that was ripened for, say, another week or maybe week and a half, that would be all totally not runny, but the right consistency. So that's absolutely fantastic. So well done, Michael and Jenny, specifically Jenny, who actually made it. So that's beautiful. All right, the next one is Oostkarka. Very nice indeed. Let's make that a bit bigger. This is from Shauna Illingworth, who's watching the show, I think, over on Facebook today. Thank you, Shauna, for sending this in. It looks lovely. And by all reports, your family requested again for dessert because it tasted so nice. But yeah, that is looking lovely, just as lovely as mine. And I cannot rave enough about this dessert. It was just so delicious. It was so delicious, and there was so much of it, mind you, that for a family of 3, that only Kim and I ate it. My son didn't want to eat it. I don't know why, because it tasted amazing. He's a bit finicky like that, young Benjamin. But we ate it over a week. So we had small portions, and it went really nice with a dollop of vanilla ice cream as well. So that was lovely. But yeah, that's Oostkarka, and there was a video about that not so long ago. And this is also from Shauna, and this is attached as a photo of a freshly brined manchego for the gallery. Your recipe increased to 10 litres yet. So I made manchego a long time ago, and I was only making recipes of 8 litres. But yeah, she's increased it to 10. I've also added freshly grated truffles. It's a shame that the truffle season ends soon in Tasmania. Yeah, indeed. That is a good-looking cheese. I love the mold. I actually have a contact that Tracy gave me from Cheese Needs over in Canada. She gave me a contact for some guy in Spain where she gets all her manchego molds and stuff. And unfortunately, I haven't had the time to get in contact with him, so I best reach out because I would love to supply some of those molds as well. They look really good. The basket that she's used to get that amazing pattern, that manchego style pattern on the outside. So very cool. Now that's it for the gallery. Let's just get rid of that. And there's my head again. So very cool. Thank you to Michael, Jenny, and Shauna for sending those photos in. They were lovely. Okay, so the next question is from Rain's Kitchen and Garden. Says, hi, Gavin and Kim. Been a while. Just wanted to say hello. Hello to you. Love to see you. Jim says that guitar strings will work just as fine for a cheese cutter. Indeed, it will. Rain's Kitchen says, I make your firm camemberts at least once a month. Love your recipe. Thank you so much. I think you're talking about the stabilized paste one. Yeah, that'll be it. Okay, now Toby says, even out of sync is the best cheese-based chat you can get on the internet. Thank you, Toby. Appreciate it. Patricia says, I've got another fundy fog in the cave right now. I made it the same way as the first one. Middle ash stripe with no salt. Outer rind got salted, then sprinkled with salty ash. It's blooming like crazy. Well done. That recipe was to die for. Lovely. It's all finished here. We ate it all. All three rounds of it. It was absolutely delicious, Patricia. H7 Apollo says, technology has a mind of its own sometimes. Yeah, indeed. Toby says, you nearly forgot to like the stream. Shame on you, Toby. But yeah, thank you for the likes. If you haven't liked it and you're watching live right now, and you like the stream, of course, you don't have to if you don't want to, but nobody will see a dislike. So yeah, there's only likes. YouTube took away the dislikes. Oh, okay. And some comments on the gallery. Toby says, good looking camembert. That's for Jenny's camembert. Sherry says, I love gallery time. It gives me cheese envy. Indeed. And that is one great looking cheese. Indeed. So let me just, what I forgot to show you, Curd Nerds, is how to send me photos. So let me just bring that up. Hopefully this won't crash the thingo. Righto, so share that. Right, so this is the channel page. So you just go searching for Gavin Weber and you just have a little banner, cheesy banner, and my face and party sprinkles and all that sort of stuff. So if I refresh it, what's it say? It says we're live, of course it does. So what you do, you go to the About tab over here. Hopefully you can see my pointer. It says About there, and you go down to Details, and it says for business inquiries, sign in to see email address. So you're going to be signed in. I'm in incognito mode at the moment, so I'm not actually signed in. So you can go and check that out. Send any photos for the gallery to that email address, and that's the only email address I check. So yeah, it's a beautiful thing. Thank you so much. If you've got photos, send them in there. All righty. So that's lovely. Thank you. Okay. So we've got a question from, sorry, this is from Evan. Evan says, hi, Gav. You can use aluminium foil to wrap your blues, but not your whites. Could you use foil for the whites too? If not, why not? Cheers, mate. Okay. So Penicillium candidum obviously is different than Penicillium roque 40. Penicillium candidum tends to off-gas ammonia a lot more than what Penicillium roque 40 does. So if you wrap it in aluminium foil, you're trapping the aluminium in there. It actually starts to rot the rind. It doesn't look fluffy and white. It'll go all milky yellow and sometimes even orange and start to stink if you wrap it in foil. I know this because I've tried it once. Yeah, it doesn't breathe properly. So that's why you've got to use micro perforated paper if you want to wrap it. If you don't want to wrap it, just let it age without wrapping it and pat the white mold down as you turn it every, couple of days so it doesn't get out of control. So you pat it down with clean hands, of course. And that way that'll keep the mold stop growing whiskers like it just grows like a whole cat or a fluffy bunny. And it can still breathe at the same time. So that's the reason I don't use aluminium foil on white mold cheeses, because of the ammonia buildup, whereas on blue cheese molds, once it's got a coating of blue and it's all good to go and you've pierced it and all that good stuff, wrap an aluminium foil, leave it in your cheese fridge, turn it once a week, and you'll be amazed at what it looks like at the end. And there's no stink. It doesn't off-gas ammonia like the white mold does. There you go, Evan. That's why. Dennis says audio lag may be a YouTube thing, no lag on Facebook. Well, that's good. Fantastic. Thank you, Dennis. And Tracy says, beautiful cheese, guys. Excellent. So we've run out of questions. So it's joke time. We're 40 minutes into the stream. We've got 20 minutes left. All right, let's have a look. Let me just check if the YouTube lag's gone. We're 40 minutes into the stream. No, of course it hasn't. All righty. All right, let's take the jokes out. Yes, could be a YouTube thing today. Who knows? But I'm still going to try the other software. Anyway, shuffle the deck of the cheesy jokes so we don't get the same ones last week. Or maybe we will. Who knows? I'm shuffling. All righty. We've got jokes on both sides, so who knows? All righty. Oh, here we go. This is a new one. This is funny already. I'm laughing at my own jokes. Why were the mozzarella and feta holding hands? Because they looked gooder together. Oh, goodness me. There's a classic joke if I ever heard one. Okay. This is not intended to insult any vegans, but it's on the joke pack, so I'm going to say it. Why did the vegans go to the wine and cheese event? Because they wanted to whine about cheese. There you go. Nice one. All righty. People, here's another one. People ask whether I'll make cheese in my afterlife. I tell them there's no way in hell. All right, that was a smile. There we go. Very cool. Okay. I think we've had that joke. All right. All right, here we go. It says, I won a jewel of, I won a jewel, as in DUEL, using a block of cheese last week. How, you may ask? It was extra sharp. Right. I don't know. That's not that funny. Anyway. Last one, of course, says here, I made a joke about cheese. Let's just say it didn't age well. I should have the rim shot noise somewhere. Anyway, there we go. It didn't age well. Very nice. Well, that's this week's cheesy jokes. I think we've got some more questions now. Let's have a look. Oh, goodness me. I love a good joke. Anyway, I'll put them away later. I'll spend 10 minutes putting them away in their little wrapper. Thanks, Curd Nerds, for listening to my cheesy jokes. Anyway, let's have a look. Jim, a good question, says, I really like cheese making. My friends and family are really surprised that I take the time to make it myself. Is this the same with any others in the chat? Yeah, good question. Chime in the chat if some people don't. Oh, what am I trying to say? I think cheese making is a superpower. Does that make sense? Everybody's got their own superpower, but cheese making is mine and many of yours, of course. Surprised that I take the time. Look, I don't know, but some people just don't take the time to do the simpler things in life. I know cheese making is not all that simple, but it is something that takes time and patience. So, look, cheese is amazing. I love it. So great question. Sherry says, same here, Jim. Guess that's more cheese for me. Yeah, if they comment about your cheese, then yeah. Shauna says, yes, Jim, I hear it a lot. Yeah, indeed. And Jim says ditto. Well done. Yeah, look, I totally agree with Jim that it is. It's one of those things that when you say, hey, I make cheese, people ask me what I do all the time. When Kim and I are out or people come and deliver parcels and say, oh, you run Little Green Workshops, what do you do? And I said, we sell cheese making kits, soap, candles, bath bombs and that stuff. And I said, well, my particular mission in the company is the home cheese maker, and we have a YouTube channel and all that stuff, and I make cheese at home. And they go, you make your own cheese? As in, I didn't know you could make your own cheese. I suppose it's kind of back in the 70s and 80s, people didn't know they could make their own beer and wine at home, and then that craze kind of took off, because if you have a look how many brewing channels there are on YouTube, it's amazing. There are so many. So you know, making cheese is just one of those things people don't think they can do in their own home. But yet in some cultures, everybody makes cheese at home. You know what I mean? It's just in the Western industrialized countries, we don't, because it's made for us. And it's only recently been, probably in the last 20, 30 years, that artisan cheese making has come to the forefront. And there's more and more of that sort of cheese available in the market. So we can, you know, buy it ourselves. So, yeah, that's my comment on the subject. Annette says, I usually get asked, do you eat all that cheese? Like there's something wrong with that. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with my cholesterol. It's all fine, all good. And oh, look, I agree, Annette. I store it because I'm making cheese all the time. You know, contrary to popular belief, I don't make cheese every single weekend. I batch film a lot of this stuff, as you probably know, and do all their videos I release in batch in staggered, but I batch film probably 2 cheeses in a weekend, and then I probably won't make cheese for a fortnight, sometimes 3 weeks. Depends on what's going on in the business. If we're busy, then it's one of those things that unfortunately falls by the wayside. Customers come first. And then, unfortunately, making cheese for myself and for the videos, making a full cheese recipe comes second. But yeah, I make as much cheese as I possibly can, of course. All the different cheeses. I love it. Okay. Question from Croesus of Borg. I love it. Gav, have you ever made cheese from kefir? The kefir culture makes the whey separate, so would rennet be used? Yeah, the kefir culture. If you have a look at David Asher's book, do I have it with me? No, I don't. The Natural Art of Cheese Making. Go and check out his recipes. He uses kefir exclusively as the starter culture to make all sorts of funky cheeses. Yeah, it does separate curds and whey because of its high acidity, and so you'll get a lactic set cheese. But he, in his book, uses Walgren animal rennet tablets instead of using, you know, Cheeseman fermented rennet like I do. But he does everything naturally. So go and get a copy of his book. There's a link in my Amazon store to his book, The Natural Art of Cheese Making, or we actually have some at Little Green Workshops, I think, in stock. So you could go and check that out as well. Okay. Tracy says, have I tried Saint Agur? I don't know how to spell that. This weekend, it's my new favorite. Have I tried it? No, I haven't, Tracy. Sorry. But yeah, I can search for it. Sherry says, I find it satisfying to make cheese or make wine or make bread. Something about it reaches the core of self-sufficiency as well as satisfaction. Indeed, it does, Sherry. I actually started this journey on a self-sufficiency slash. You may have seen my blog, The Greening of Gavin. I wrote that for, nearly 8 years when I had my green epiphany, I call it. And that's one of the things that led me to making cheese, as well as we made sourdough bread and not very well, of course. So we started making yeast bread in a bread maker. Which we do make every so often now. But Kim does a lot of baking. But yeah, that started me. I was already home brewing beer, you know, not all the time. Whenever I ran it out of a batch, I made another one. And then I started making my own cheese. We're making preserves and all that sort of stuff. But totally true. That's exactly the way I started. And Jim says that it was the same for him. So yeah, indeed, that's very cool. So we got 10 minutes to go on the stream. One thing that I will do, will I be able to do it live? I want to pick let me have a look. It's just going to work. Is it going to work? I don't know. I think it worked last time. We made the thumbnail for next week's episode. Will this work? Alrighty. Let's have a look. So bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. We will see if this works. Fingers crossed. Goodness me. Live television, live YouTube. Right. So even though that looks like the thumbnail, this is last week's thumbnail. So let's just make this on screen. I've got to make it a bit bigger. All right, there we go. So what I'm going to do, we're going to change the background. Oh, maybe we're not. Oh, what the heck happened there? That's not, these are not the droids I'm looking for. So we are going to replace the background. I've done this 1,000 times. Well, 222. Okay, so let's get a picture. Let's have a look at the pictures. Okay, I think I'm going to choose Shauna's truffle cheese. Let's see if that comes across. It's lagging like the Billy-O here. Oh, goodness me. Have I crashed my... Oh, no. Anyway, hopefully the stream's still working, but everything has crashed. Let's just... All right, that didn't work. It crashed. Oh, hang on. It did. Oh, it's not working. Oh, the stream. Right, there we go. We got a picture. Yeah, there we go. So let's just adjust where that sits. Nice. We'll change this to 224. So we've got one next week. And this is not Yarg by Tracy Johnson. This is Truffle Manchego by Shauna Illingworth. There we go. So let's just make that a bit bigger so it looks better. There we go. Pop it down there. Coolio. So we'll save that. And all done. So we have the next, if I can find where the heck I store all these, we have the next thumbnail for next week's show. Yay. All righty. So that's thumbnail creation live. All good. So well done. Well done to Shauna. She gets the Manchego gets the vote. Well done, Cheryl. There you go. I got it anyway. All righty. Sherry says, almost forgot to ask for the homemade press. Couldn't find a 50-pound spring, but did find two 25-pound springs. Will it work to get the right amount of pressure if you can put them together without them going bendy? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. That would be interesting. So yeah, you could do that. However, Sherry, if you're desperate for a 50-pound spring, we do sell them over at Little Green Workshops. Good segue. Can we do that? Let's have a look. Oh yeah. Okay, sharing again. Probably get a bit rate drop off, but alrighty. So if you go to the store, temporary closure because we're refurbishing at the moment. We'll send it next week. So we go to the cheese making, and if we go to, oh, come on, everything's so slow. If we go to cheese making equipment, I do have the springs. There, I have some still in stock. There we go. 22 kilo, 50-pound compression spring. So that was in stock. We ship to the US, Canada, most of Southeast Asia, New Zealand, and some non-EU countries that I don't have tax issues with. So yeah, so you can get the spring from us if you want. So don't forget, like I said, if you want any cheese making gear, littlegreenworkshops.com.au. And we got quite a comprehensive cheese making section where you can buy stuff. Okay, now if you want more stuff from me, don't forget you can pop over to Little Green Cheese, which is my original cheese making blog, and I've done a bit of a revamp on it. If you want to search, there's a big search bar right at the front. And down here, I put the latest YouTube videos, links to the cheese podcast. And down here, we've got the latest posts. So I actually did a blog post with the Saganaki recipe as well. Heating milk with a sous vide, the latest podcast episodes, how to make a cheese fridge, all that sort of good gear. It's all there on Little Green Cheese, and I'll just put that link into the chat so people, if they don't know it exists, now they can find it. So there you go. That's where you can find more cheesy goodness. If you can't get enough of YouTube and you go, Gav, where's all your other cheesy stuff? Then you can go there. So go to Little Green Cheese and you'll find all the cheesy goodies. All righty. So that's littlegreencheese.com or littlegreenworkshops.com if you want to buy stuff. There's a link from Little Green Cheese anyway. Okay. Ashley said, I got my cheese in the press just in time for the end. Very nice. Well done. Making cheese and watching the show at the same time. So good. Tracy says that I saw a cheese called Woman Chago. And I laughed for a really long time. Yeah, that would tickle my funny bone. Annette says, I would love a Manchego mold. So hard to find in Australia. Indeed, I can't find them anywhere. Not even at my alternate store. Well, it's not my store. Cheese Links down in Lara in Victoria. They do have a lot of stuff, but they don't have a Manchego mold either. Anyway, Annette says, I just purchased a sous vide. We'll check out how you use it. What? Sorry, my brain's not working. I have just purchased a sous vide. We'll check out your how to use it video today. Indeed. Thanks, Annette. And last but not least, we only got 3 minutes to go. We have to say goodnight. The Tampa Bay Bucks football game starts in a few minutes. Can't miss the football, apparently. But yeah, well done. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, Curd Nerds, one and all, for visiting the stream. Sorry about the audio. I'm going to swap software next week. You won't know any difference. Maybe some of the things on the screen won't look the same, but as far as the stream itself, hopefully the quality will be better. No lag on the audio, and we'll go from there. All righty. Well, thanks for watching, Curd Nerds. Same time, same channel next week. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.